and welcome to Creative Moments by G. I'm Georgia, and we are so happy that you are stopping by today to join us as we make a handmade card. We are going to use a Stampin' Up stamp set that is new from the annual catalog, and it is called So Much Love. And you know what else we're going to do, though? We're also going to incorporate that into a fun fold. Who doesn't love fun folds, right? So, just a little bit of information first. Remember, we would love it if you would like, share, and remember to subscribe. And the reason we ask you to subscribe and ring the bell is so that you're always notified when we put up a new video. Because if you're like me, we get so busy, we forget. And we don't want you to miss one of our videos. So please take this moment to go ahead and ring that bell and subscribe and join our Sunflower family. Well, you know what? Let's head down to the crafting table and let's get started. So, hey Susan, thanks for joining us. You know, I always like to start with a saying, right? And here's our saying for today. Almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, even you. So you know what? I just want to take this time, in this stressful time with the pandemic and everything that's going on, take a few moments to unplug. Whether that is just sitting down and sipping some tea or spending time with your family, you know, take that moment so that you can de-stress. And then you're ready to make cards again, right? So let's go ahead and get started. Let me show you one of the cards that we made using this design. Look at this. This is a fun fold, but we have the two areas here. You still have plenty of room to write your message. And we added our beautiful So Much Love stamp set right there, right? Now, another tip that we're sharing with you today, you can take any stamp set, if you don't have the DSP that you want or the background, and create your own background. Look at that cute background. And by the way, we used our in colors for this. Let me show you the stamp set that we used. This is a wonderful stamp set, Textured Essentials. We also used it on another card that I'm going to show you at the end of the video, so stick around. These make great backgrounds. And here is the stamp set that we're using, So Much Love. It has two sizes of flowers and then some beautifully scripted sentiments for you. We also used flowering blooms because we use this cute little thank you. And then I am using Let Your Faith Be Bigger Than Your Fear in today's cards from Ridiculously Awesome. Now remember, all the dimensions will be listed on our blog right there. You see it, creativemomentsbyg.com, and just click on my blog. Give us till this afternoon and we'll have all the dimensions. Now, if you want to purchase any of these supplies, you can just look below this video. So let's just jump right in. The first thing you need to do is go ahead and make you an A2 card. Just your simple 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. And you will need your mat on the inside. So let's go ahead and lay that down. And you know, I always say that I like to use the Kalel, right? Because it's a very easy wet glue to use. And it allows you to really move that mat around as you need to. So we have that down. Now you will need to cut a strip on the inside. And our strip runs exactly the same size as this white piece of paper. So we are going to go ahead and just lay that down. Just a little bit of glue. And run right to the edge because I think that looks best in terms of the design. Now I'm going to pull out my trimmer, and I love this trimmer. I'm sure you have one. The reason I like it is there's a docking station right up here for your scorer, and then you can dock the blade that cuts down here. I love that. So you're going to take your A2 card And you are going to just score it at 1.5. And that's going to give us our front fold. Now, look at this. So easy to create this fun fold. You just take it, fold it back, and I like to use my bone folder to give me a good crease. And look at that. It's already starting to look like the fun fold, right? Now, I want to go ahead and mat this little part right here. So I'm going to lay that down. And this is an interesting card because I am doing black and white, and then I'm just going to use blends on one of the flowers. I don't know. I just love that style where you just have one thing that pops out at you. Now look at that. So far, very easy, right? But we need to get our panels right here. And so we're going to do a little bit of stamping. I've already cut our panels, and I'm going to bring out our stamp. And we're going to use real red because that is the color of our card, real red cardstock. And we are just going to ink this up. And I am going to just kind of make my own background. And let's see, I think I'll do one about right here. We'll just get some leaves. And then we'll do some more. Let's make sure I have that inked up really well. Now we're also going to use another stamp that they have in here to fill in these white places. So here we have our background. Look how easy that was. We need a little background here. So we're going to just get that inked up. And maybe on this one I'll pull in this side of it. And then we'll go for the big side down at the bottom. You know, I love that technique, creating your own backgrounds. But look, we're not finished. Now we want to go ahead and use our memento and bring in those little teeny dots. Oh my goodness. Now, you can go ahead if you want and just kind of map that off just a little bit. And I'm just going to get a scratch piece of paper, and I'm going to just kind of mask it a little bit so that I don't get it on the flowers. But I do want the dots, and we're just going to put some dots there. There we have it. I just love that. Now I'm going to go ahead and mask it right here because I do want some dots right there on that little spot. And that allows you to just get a few but not mess up your flowers. So we have a few dots there. I'm going to put that to the side. Now on this one, we can just go ahead and put our dots right there. And I'm going to put them right here. I don't know, that just gives us some interest, doesn't it? Right there. And then we need a few dots right here, right? Well, bring in that mask again. And that way you won't get it on your flower, because we don't want that. And I'm just going to put it this way so I don't get it on the leaves. And take it off. And there we have it. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that down, and you will see that it's going to start taking shape. Oh my goodness. You know what's really interesting about this card is what you put on the very front. We are going to use a triangle. Now in the other one that we made, we used an oval, but on this one we're actually going to cut a square and then turn it diagonally, which I think really adds some interest. So we're going to go ahead and just put this right here. Okay. And now we have this part of the card made. Isn't that pretty? I love this design. And you can incorporate this using so many stamp sets. That's what I like about it. Now, you might ask, so what are you going to do about this? What we have found when we made this card, that really just to leave this a solid color didn't look as good. So we cut another strip that matched exactly, and we are simply going to run it through a very small embossing folder, and this is a very small die cutting machine. So we're just going to hold it down, run it through. You can use any embossing folder that you want. I really like that little small die cut machine though. And you know, look, it just adds to it. Look how pretty that is. Oh my goodness. So we're going to go ahead and lay this down right on top, and you'll see it just adds to it. So I think you're really going to like that. And we all have embossing folders. Like I said, you can use any embossing folder that you want. And look at the difference that made. Remember before it just looked flat and very one-dimensional? I think this really raised it. What do you think? Don't you think that embossing folder really added to it? The next and final thing, well, not the final because we need to stamp the inside. We need to come up with the card that goes just like this on the front, right? So we are going to stamp our flower, and I'm going to stamp it in Memento because I will be using a blend, and we want to make sure that it doesn't bleed. So we're going to go ahead and stamp it. Let's see, I'm going to do it this way, and I'm turning it on the diagonal, right, because that's how I'm going to use it. And I don't know, I'm trying to see which way. I think I like it better this way. So I'm going to stamp it right here and hold it for good contact. Oh my goodness, look at that. Now we're just going to bring in some reds, and we are using light cherry cobbler and light poppy parade because the others were a little too dark. And watch what we do. We are simply going to use our blending side of this pen and go around the outside where there might be some shadows, right? And then we'll come in with our lighter blending tool. Oh, I just love these blends. This is a brand new one, so it really just glides over the paper. And of course, this Whisper white paper is wonderful. Now I'm going to use yellow for the inside of the stamens right here, the inside of the flower. So just kind of go over that. And now all we have to do is use the blending side and just go over in little bitty circles. And that will help the lines dissipate, right? Once the alcohol evaporates, it will lighten up, but yet you will still see your shadows that you wanted to create. So we just kind of go over in little circles, and you can always come back in and add some more dark if you want, but look at that. Oh my goodness, isn't that pretty? Now we're going to come in with a couple greens, and I like to use, this is dark granny apple and light granny apple, and we're just going to go over the veins just a little bit with the dark granny apple. And you know, I like to do this because these lines give us the shading that we need, right? We don't have to do much, just a little bit. And remember, my sister Maudie is over there. You probably already started chatting with her. She loves to chat and just see how everybody is doing. And now I need to get the light granny apple. I want to make sure that I have the light. And we just go over it. I use the blending tool on this because it just glides right over it. And you don't have to spend a lot of time, but yet it keeps the shading that you did previously using the dark granny apple. So we have that. We are almost done with our blending. And let's see. Now we need to go back in, right? And we need to add a little bit of touch on these little bitty bulbs, these little bitty blooms. So I'm just going to go in very lightly. Go ahead and just do them the full dark color. And look at that. Isn't that pretty? I love how the shading just took care of that flower for us, right? Now we're going to go ahead and set this up on dimensionals. Yes, and you know what? Before we do that, I just saw, what do we need to do? We need to add our cute little dots, right? Because we don't want white spots. So we're just going to add some dots. There we go. I love polka dots. Do you like polka dots? What do you think? I just think it really adds to it. And that's why they have them in the stamp set, right? Because they know it does. I'll just put a little bit right here. There we have it. And maybe we'll try to sneak one in right there. There we go. Oh my goodness. Now we're ready. I'm going to go ahead and put a dimensional in each corner and then one in the middle so that we can make sure it stands up like it's supposed to. And I'm going to bring in my Take Your Pick tool. We love that. Just go ahead and take the backing off. Makes it very easy. Now we're going to lay this down. Look at that. We did a video with the happy birthday cake and we used red and black. So cute. Now we're going to turn this just like this. Look at that. Makes for a very interesting fun fold, doesn't it? Now we only need our dimensionals right here and then kind of right in the center. So we're just going to flip it over so we know exactly where we need them. We're going to put one up there, one at the bottom, and then two kind of close to the middle because our strip isn't very big, right? Once again, bring in that wonderful Take Your Pick tool. Okay, and get this centered right where you want it. Okay, now we need to stamp the inside message. So we're just going to lay this down, and remember I told you we're going to use Let Your Faith Be Bigger Than Your Fear. And we're going to go ahead, I think I'll stamp it in black. So we'll get some good ink on there, and I'll stamp it off just to make sure it's exactly where it needs. Oh, pretty good. Very nice. And I'm going to put it, I think, right down here at the bottom. That way you have plenty of room to write and hold it for good contact. Now, what do I say? To intensify the color, we usually put Wink of Stella on our flowers, right? Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So I'm going to pull out this Wink of Stella, and I'm just going to go over the beautiful flower that we have. And you can tell right away it starts to just intensify this color. I think I'm going to keep it just on the flower. Now, let's see. What do you think? Look at the sparkle. I can see the sparkle. Do you like this fun fold? So easy to make. My goodness. But such a surprise. And it fits in the envelope. When your people open that up, they're going to be so surprised. Now look, I did this one a little differently. Yesterday I was playing around with it. And notice how I didn't turn it diagonal. And then I also colored two of the flowers. What do you like best? Do you like the flowers colored or just left as a background? I would love to know in the comments below. Remember I said we also did this one earlier. I love how we cut this little thank you out and we put it up on dimensionals. And then we have one more to show you. This is one of the other textures that we showed you about in that stamp set. We created our own background. Look at this one. And then we used some Nouveau drops. So very different styles, but I think this really makes a statement, and it's fun to make, right? Oh my goodness. Well, crafting friends, thank you so much for stopping by today. We are so happy that you could. Remember, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We would love to have you in our Sunflower family. Be safe, be healthy, be creative in your crafting, and we'll see you on Friday.